Hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. I'm out in the family playhouse today. The Geocron and I wanted to talk about clocks and watches, and this time I want to talk about this clock here, which I recently saw at a Sam's Club store near where I live. All right, so this is a LaCrosse technology clock, and it has large digits up here for the time. These are 3 inches tall. So this is something you could see maybe without having to put your glasses on in the morning. Maybe this would be a great thing for an elderly person. Maybe if you've got a spot that's kind of far away, a high wall or something, you want to stick a clock up there. This would be a nice one to stick up there with those large digits for the time. It also has an indoor and outdoor thermometer thing going on here, and a moon phase. And here, well, I'll show you all the details, but for now, I just wanted to give you a sense of scale. This is how big it is. And just to let you know, LaCrosse Technology has this on their website. Last time I checked, it was $73, $74, something in that range. Okay, which, I guess that's reasonable for something so large with so many features. But I found this at Sam's Club for $33 or so. $33. Same thing. Works great. I've been using it for a couple of weeks, and I thought I would just give you an overview of what this is and just let you know that if you're thinking about this and you see it at your local Sam's Club store, maybe go ahead and jump on that deal right now, because I don't know. Sometimes things show up at Sam's Club and it's like a clearance thing, and they have it for a few weeks and then it's gone and it's just gone. And so if you like that deal, let me tell you all about it, and then my advice is go ahead and get one. What a deal, $33 or so. All right, so here's what it looks like in operation, and it's just great. It looks like it's a 12-hour mode only. So if you want a 24-hour readout here on the time, military time, it's not going to offer that. But 12 hours, AM and PM, and you've got hours, minutes, and seconds right there. Right here, atomic clock. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that. Yes, this is an atomic clock receiver, so it can automatically set itself to the right time, right down to the second, by receiving, in this case, WWVB to set itself. Right here, it's kind of nice. It shows you the entire day of the week spelled out there, not an abbreviation. And there's the date. And right here, in large digits, there's the indoor temperature. Temperature's going up a little bit because I turned on my video lights and turned off the air conditioner so I could record. So you can see that little trend arrow pointed upward. Over here, the outdoor temperature, also in Fahrenheit right there. And then this is the moon phase. And my only real complaint about the moon phase on this clock, I'll give you a couple seconds to figure this out. This is what they show as a full moon, okay? So, of course, all the little LCD segments of the moon are visible right now. So that's a full moon. But to me, it should almost be the opposite. So this to me looks like a new moon because it's dark, see? And there's no way to reverse this. I think I got a couple of Casio watches, with the moon phase, and I think you can kind of reverse that for one or another. But this is just the way it is. So, you'll get used to this. If it's, you see all the digits and it's dark, that's a full moon. Okay. But anyway, that's my only complaint about this. Everything else I really, really like about this clock. On the back, it's got a few, just a few little instructions written there. It also has, this is where you put the batteries, 3 batteries here for this part, and a couple of batteries for the outdoor temperature probe, and then kind of a built-in stand there so you can, put that out and stand it up like that if you want to. And then, of course, you can hang it. You got those 3 hangers right there. I think you can probably get by with just using one of them. But so far, I haven't figured out where I want to put this clock, so I've just been using the table stand like that. And there are some buttons here. I'll show you right here, some buttons to operate some things, and I'll show you all about. But, first, let me just start with the temperature probe, okay? So when you get clocks like this that have an outdoor temperature probe, it's often something that looks very similar to this. So this is a temperature sensor, and I think it says it's got a range of like 300 feet. Now, in practical experience, I've seen that it doesn't really go out quite that far for me. I don't know if just, things that would interfere with radio reception going on at my house. But anyway, if you can get this away from the house, that's one of the things you want to do. The correct placement of this temperature sensor can make a lot of difference, because you want to see, you want to have a reading of the outdoor air, right? So if you hang this on the outside wall of the house, well, that's pretty good, but probably the temperature sensor would be affected by the house itself. If the house is kind of warm or kind of cool compared to the air around it, you might not be getting the most accurate reading. So, but also you don't want to leave this sitting in some place where it's going to get in the direct sunlight, because ideally, to get the right temperature reading, you want to have this in a shaded area with lots of airflow. So if you have a place that stays shady most of the time and is not right up against the house, and the air is able to travel through that location pretty easily, that's probably the ideal place to put a temperature sensor like this. I tried setting one in on an evergreen tree. So you had all the evergreen needles and all the branches and stuff that offered quite a lot of shade. And I mounted this right up against the trunk of the tree. And I think that worked pretty well. There are times when it does get a little bit of sunlight, but I tried that. I tried hanging it on the shady side of a tree, but depending on the season, that can be affected. So I think one of the ideal places I have for this now is kind of a covered deck that is in the shade, I would say, all except for maybe the last hour before dinner time. It gets a little bit of sunlight. So that's what I do. It's away from the house. And, again, if you can find the perfect location, that's what you want to do. The other thing to remember about this temperature sensor is it's sending temperature information from here to the clock, right? But it doesn't do that continuously, all the time, every single second. What it does, it conserves its own energy by just sending out a little temperature data burst, a little bit more often than once a minute. So depending on the manufacturer, if you have remote sensors like this, maybe it sends a little pulse of temperature data every 30 seconds or every 1 minute or whatever it is. According to the manual for this, it's every 51 seconds. So, and when it does that little burst, this little red LED lights up, just blinks when it does that. So what you want to do in order to synchronize this with the base is you want to put the batteries in this first normally, and then put the batteries in the clock. And so when you first turn on the clock, it will be searching continually for a few minutes for that pulse. It won't just, but once it synchronizes, then they both sort of conserve their power. This one only sending a pulse every 51 seconds, and this one listening for that every 51 seconds or so. I think the base maybe starts listening a couple seconds early and waits a couple seconds later just to kind of maintain that synchronization. And if you lose synchronization completely between this and the clock itself, eventually, after several hours or maybe a few days, it'll kind of fall into sync once again. But the best thing to do is put the batteries in this temperature sensor first, and then put the batteries in the base. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. And as you can see, maybe, I don't know if that blinked a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of a blink there to tell me it's working. And I see there's a little button way down here, and you can barely see, it says TX, so transmitter. I think that's kind of a reset button, so you can kind of, push that to reset the thing. Maybe if the battery's okay, you sort of reset that. But anyway, put the battery cover on there, and you're good to go. And you know what? I think what I'll do, since I'm in the house right now, I'm going to go stick this in the fridge and see if we can synchronize between the two of these and start getting a temperature reading from the refrigerator. Let's try that. All right, so now that the outdoor sensor is ready to go, let me just pretend I'm putting in these batteries for the first time. You heard that nice decisive beep there. And now it's going to start to, it can set itself, or I can manually set it. At this point, it's just starting off from 12 midnight on January 1st, and the moon phase is according to that calendar. And the indoor temperature, again, here I am on a nice summer day. I've turned off the air conditioner so I don't make a lot of noise. And here I am, 80 degrees right here, the sensor built into this clock. And now 64, because that must be the one that's in the fridge. So that might be still going down for a bit. Now, if I wait here for a little bit, you can see that that's blinking right there. And that is showing me that it's trying to receive its atomic clock information from WWVB right now, that is blinking. And I could wait here for just a few minutes and see if that is successful, or I could go ahead and manually set that. Either way, if I manually set it, then it's still going to try to receive later on, and it's going to override my manual setting with whatever it does receive from the atomic clock. So very similar to the way it works on basically all the radio-controlled clocks and watches I have in my house. But as soon as it is able to set itself to the right time and date, then the moon phase will also fall in line and show you the correct moon phase for what the moon phase actually is right now on today's correct date. All right, so I gave the clock a chance to set itself away from the video equipment, and it did fine, except this is not the right time for me. This is the Eastern time zone, and I'm not in the Eastern time zone. So I do have to go into some of the settings to select the right time zone. Other than that, the date is correct, the phase of the moon is correct, everything is correct, just gotta change the time zone. So I'm gonna go over here, and there's this button marked set. I'm gonna press and hold that until things start to blink. Okay, so then it's allowing me to turn the beep off if I want to, so I can use the plus and minus buttons to turn that beep off so it doesn't beep as much as I'm going through, all the settings and things. Atomic time reception is on. Oh, I guess I can turn that off if I want to. Okay, all right. Automatic daylight saving time, I want to leave that on. Here's my time zone setting, but it's on Eastern. I'm going to back that off to Mountain time zone. Now it's correct. I'll press the set button again, and here's where I can manually set the hours and minutes if I want to. I can set the year, month, and date if I want to. I can set it to Fahrenheit or Celsius if I want to. And now I'm back. And for most other times, this is all I'm going to do with it. Except this is actually an alarm clock. So if I got a button there marked alarm, so if I press and hold that, let's see what I get. Okay, here I can manually set the alarm. So let's set it to like 8. And I'll push the alarm button again, 8:30. Okay, fine. And now the alarm is set to go. You can see a little alarm icon there. But if I go up here and I push that alarm button again, just kind of tap that, and then I can set it to alarm on or off. We try that again, alarm off. Okay, so all I had to do was press the alarm button and kind of toggle that on or off. And there I go there. So my alarm is set, but I don't want to use this as an alarm clock because I'm thinking more this is one that I'm going to hang up really high. So I don't want the alarm to go off and, I can't, it's hard to reach, right? But let's take another look at these buttons here. So you got, the set button, the alarm button I was using. This one is called moon. There's a snooze button if I want to, and this one is search. So if I want to manually initiate a search for atomic time, I can push that there. Otherwise, it's going to automatically try to receive atomic time information every hour on the hour between, I think it is 7 o'clock UTC or Greenwich time, from 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. So in the United States, like the Eastern time zone, that would be 2 in the morning, 3, 4, 5, you know what I mean? So here in my time zone, that would typically be at midnight or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. It'll try all those times to receive atomic time information, or I can manually get that going with the search button. All right, so my outdoor probe is still in the fridge. The other thing I want to show you here is right here in this line here. Now, this could be a very useful line of information for some folks. I know I've talked to some retired folks who say, some days the days are just kind of all run together and you kind of forget what day of the week it is. So it's kind of fun to have the day of the week spelled out nice and clear right there every day, especially if you've got kind of an open, easy schedule. And it's nice to, if you can't remember what day of the week it is. But if I push the button that's marked moon, this line changes, and I'll just tap that button, and now it tells me full moon. So that's kind of fun. And if I tap that button once again that's marked moon, it just takes me back. So I toggle between showing you, spelling out what phase of the moon it is, or just saying Friday. Now, let me just show you. I will go ahead and manually set this to a different date so you can see how it spells out other phases of the moon. All right, so you see a week ago, it was saying first quarter. Okay, and that's what it was showing you there. Before that, it was a waxing crescent. So, it's kind of fun if you're into the moon phases. It's kind of nice to have that spelled out right there to go ahead and coincide with the graphical representation of the phase of the moon. Oh, and in case you're worried, I put this in the freezer, so my fridge isn't quite that cold. Just having some fun with the outdoor temperature sensor. You have all these buttons here on the side, and the plus and minus buttons are the ones you use to access the temperature records for the recorded high and low readings, both indoor and outdoor, to see what the extremes were since the last time that you reset it. So let's take a look at how that works in action. So right now it's telling me the current temperature on the indoor sensor, which is built into the clock, and the outdoor sensor. And so if I reach over here to the side and I push the plus button, then it shows me the high record for outdoor temperature. Press that button again, and it's going to show me the low record for outdoor temperature and the date when that happened as well. That's what it's going to tell me. And this was because I was, again, fiddling around with it, put it in the fridge or the freezer for a while. Now, okay, there's high record, low record. Now the indoor high record and the indoor low record. And again, showing me the date when those happen. Now, while I'm looking at those records, let's say I want to reset this one now. So I'll go ahead and I will hold down, while it's showing me this, the minus button. And as I hold that for a moment, now the high record is reset. And now I'm going to go here to the low record and reset that one by, again, holding down the minus button while it's showing me that. And it's showing me there that that's been reset. Now, again, with the indoor high, let me just reset right there. And actually, since that's the current high right now, and low, let me reset that there. And now it's ready to go, and it'll from this moment onward, it will record the highest and lowest reading for both the indoor and outdoor sensors. I should clarify here, if I tap the search button like that, that will initiate the atomic time reception, and if I tap it again, that will stop the atomic time reception. If I press and hold that search button, then that will give me kind of a new search for the outdoor temperature probe. So if for some reason you've lost reception from the outdoor temperature probe, or you went ahead and changed the battery in that outdoor temperature sensor without changing the batteries on the main unit here, yes, you can hold that search button, and you can see there where it did a brand new effort, and those were animated for just a moment as it was searching again for that temperature sensor. So anyway, this is basically everything you need to know about this clock. It's big, it's nice, and it does what it says it can do. And again, I got a great deal at Sam's Club. You can go check your local Sam's Club, and if they're gone, they're gone. But I guess you could try the LaCrosse technology website and see if they're back over there too. So anyway, I think this is fun. Long before I got into my tons and tons of Casio and specific G-Shock watches, I really liked these atomic time reception clocks. And this is a nice one because it's big and it's kind of unique in that sense. And yeah, what's not to like about that, especially when you can get the Sam's Club deal for about $33. Yeah, batteries not included, but you get yourself 5 AA batteries and you're in business. All right, that's all I have for now, but I have more videos coming up soon. So I hope you will join me again for another episode of The Good Timekeeping Show.